You are standing on the edge of your own life, and you feel it, the tension between who you are and who you were meant to become. You sense the invisible chains of old beliefs, silent fears, and unspoken doubts, and yet, within you, there is something unshakable and untamed power waiting for your command. Today, you will hear a language not written in books, but inscribed into your very being, a language of silence, strength, and control. Stay with me until the end, and you will never look at yourself the same way again. Before we begin this journey, pause for a moment. If these words strike something deep within you, if you feel that spark, I ask you to give this message strength. Leave a like, subscribe to this channel, and let's grow together in mastery. Every gesture of yours builds a circle of seekers, a brotherhood of minds ready to rise. Now let us begin. Power is not what the world told you it was. It is not wealth, status, or the applause of strangers. True power is invisible. It is the ability to remain calm when the storm screams around you. It is the strength to hold silence when chaos demands your reaction. Imagine yourself standing in the middle of a battlefield, arrows flying, voices shouting, yet your breathing is steady, your mind untouched. That is power. That is control. The ancients knew it. The philosophers wrote of it. The warriors lived by it. And now, it waits for you to claim it. Control begins not with others, but with yourself. How many times have you been a prisoner of your own thoughts? How many mornings have you woken up enslaved by memories of yesterday, shackled by fears of tomorrow? Picture your mind as a wild horse, pulling in every direction, dragging you through the dirt. Discipline is the hand on the reins. Without it, you are scattered. With it, you are unstoppable. The world outside cannot bend a person who has mastered the world inside. Ask yourself, who rules you today, your emotions or your will? Silence is your greatest weapon. In silence, you meet yourself. In silence, you hear the whispers of the eternal. The noise of the world is designed to scatter you endless notifications, arguments, distractions, addictions. But in silence, you take back the throne of your inner kingdom. Imagine closing your eyes, shutting out every sound, and sinking into the deep ocean of your mind. In that stillness, answers rise like ancient ruins revealed beneath the water. Silence is not weakness, it is unshakable mastery. Detachment does not mean you feel nothing. It means nothing controls you. The Stoics spoke of this as armor for the soul. The sages taught it as liberation. Imagine holding fire in your hands, yet not being burned. That is detachment. The insults of others pass through you like shadows. The chaos of the world touches you but cannot consume you. Ask yourself, what have you given too much power to? Whose opinion has chained your soul? Detachment breaks the chains. Detachment makes you free. Your mind is a forge, and every thought is a hammer striking the iron of your destiny. What you allow to dwell in your imagination will one day walk beside you in reality. Picture a seed planted in the soil. You water it with attention. You feed it with repetition. Eventually, it grows into a tree so vast it shapes your life. What thoughts are you planting right now? What future are you silently constructing in the secret chambers of your mind? Master your imagination, and you master your world. History remembers those who learned this truth. The great leaders who walked unafraid into darkness. The philosophers who faced death with calm. The saints who held faith in silence. They did not have different blood, different brains, or different hearts. They simply listened to the language within them, the same one you carry now. Picture yourself as one of them, walking the same road, eyes steady, heart unshaken. The only difference between them and you is choice. Will you choose power, or will you remain in chains? There is a force that runs deeper than thought, intention. Intention is the arrow, thought is the bow. Without intention, thought scatters like smoke, but with intention, thought becomes a weapon. Imagine standing on a dark field, lifting your bow and sending an arrow into the unseen distance. That arrow is your intention. It shapes where your energy flows and what reality unfolds. Ask yourself, do you set your intention each morning, or do you drift like a leaf in someone else's river? Mastery is not a moment, it is a practice. It is the daily act of reclaiming your throne. Every morning you rise. You are either servant or sovereign. Which one are you today? Picture a temple built stone by stone, each stone placed with discipline, patience, and vision. Your habits are those stones. Your temple is your mind. Build carelessly, and your temple crumbles. Build with purpose, and it will stand unshaken. Through storms, the question is not whether you are building, but what you are building. Your body follows your mind. Your breath is the bridge. In ancient practices, the breath was the secret key to mastery. When fear rises, the breath shatters. When anger consumes, the breath quickens. But when mastery holds the reins, the breath remains steady. Try it now. Inhale deeply, hold it, release slowly. Feel the storm inside you calm. Your breath is not just air, it is the rhythm of your inner world. To command your breath is to command your life. And finally, for this first step, remember that every obstacle is a mirror. The enemy outside reflects the enemy within. The chaos outside echoes the chaos inside. Picture walking through a hall of mirrors, every reflection showing a different distortion of yourself. That is life. Every trial, every wound, every loss, it is a mirror revealing what you must conquer within. Stop running from the mirrors. Face them. Shatter them. Only then will you walk free. This is just the beginning. You have touched the surface of a hidden ocean. Ahead, the depths wait deeper lessons, sharper truths, the language of power etched into your very soul. Stay with me, because what follows will carve strength into your being like fire into stone. Resilience is not the absence of pain. It is the decision to rise despite it. You will be struck. You will be betrayed. You will be broken. That is inevitable. But resilience is the iron spine that refuses to bow. Imagine a tree in winter. Its branches bare, its bark cracked by frost. Yet, beneath the surface, life is waiting, unyielding, ready to bloom again. That is resilience. It does not deny suffering. It transforms it into strength. Ask yourself, do you collapse under the weight, or do you stand taller because of it? Destiny is not written in the stars. It is carved by your choices. Every decision you make is a brushstroke on the canvas of eternity. Picture yourself as an artist, standing before a vast mural. Each thought, each act, each word is paint on the wall. Some strokes are bold, others are subtle, but together they form the image of your life. Do not let your hand tremble. Do not allow fear to paint for you. Your destiny is not a sentence, it is a creation. What image are you creating? Discipline is the architecture of greatness. Without discipline, dreams collapse under their own weight. With discipline, even the impossible bends. Imagine a sculptor chipping away at stone. Every strike seems small, every movement repetitive, yet in time, a figure emerges that stirs the soul. Discipline is not glamorous, it is relentless. It is the invisible hand that molds your character. Ask yourself, what do you repeat every day, and what is it shaping you into? There is a secret few dare to face. Freedom is not found in indulgence, but in restraint. The world tells you freedom is doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But look closer, does indulgence not bind you? Every craving becomes a chain, every desire a leash. True freedom is mastery over desire itself. Picture a man holding a goblet of wine, yet choosing not to drink. That is freedom. A mind that rules its appetites is a kingdom unshakable. Do you roll your desires, or do they roll you? Pain is a teacher, and its lessons are carved into the deepest chambers of your being. When you resist it, you suffer twice. When you embrace it, you awaken. Imagine fire burning your hand. It sears, it scars, but it also warns you never to touch the flame again. Pain refines, pain reveals, pain strips away illusions until only truth remains. Ask yourself, what lesson is hidden in your pain? What message have you been refusing to hear? Faith is the invisible bridge between the seen and the unseen. You cannot touch it, yet it carries you across impossible distances. Imagine walking through total darkness, one step at a time, trusting that solid ground lies beneath your feet. That is faith. It is not blinded, it is the certainty of what your soul already knows. Without faith, you collapse at the first sign of uncertainty. With faith, you endure storms that crush armies. Ask yourself, where have you placed your faith, on fragile things or on the eternal within you? The language of God is not spoken with words, but with alignment. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions move as one, the universe responds. Imagine an instrument finely tuned, every string vibrating in harmony. That harmony creates resonance, and resonance shapes reality. When you are divided, life scatters. When you are aligned, life bends to your will. Ask yourself, are you living divided, or are you walking in harmony with the power that flows through you? Mastery requires sacrifice. Nothing great was ever forged without something being given up. The warrior gives up comfort. The philosopher gives up certainty. The leader gives up fear. Imagine a flame devouring dry wood, consuming one form to release another. That is, sacrifice the old burns so the new may rise. The question is not whether you will sacrifice, but what you will sacrifice. Will it be your weakness, or will it be your destiny? Your environment whispers into your soul. The people you surround yourself with, the words you consume, the places you dwell in, they shape you more than you know. Imagine placing a seed in rich soil versus barren sand. One grows into life, the other withers. Your mind is that seed. Ask yourself, who around you strengthens your fire? Who extinguishes it? Do not underestimate the silent power of your environment. To rise, you must choose your soil. Time is the only currency that cannot be replenished. Every second is a stone, dropped into the ocean of eternity, never to return. Imagine an hourglass, grains of sand slipping endlessly, each grain a heartbeat, a choice, a chance. How many have you wasted? How many have you cherished? The unshakable know this truth. Time is not to be killed, it is to be forged. Ask yourself, what will you do with the time that still remains? The body is a temple, but only if you treat it as one. Too often, it becomes a prison, chained by neglect, weakened by indulgence. Yet, when honored, it becomes an instrument of power. Imagine a warrior sharpening his sword daily, caring for it, keeping it ready. Your body is that sword. It responds to discipline, to care, to respect. Every movement, every meal, every breath is a form of worship. Ask yourself, is your body your ally or your enemy? Greatness demands solitude. In solitude, you encounter the voice that the noise of the world drowns out. Imagine a mountain peak, far above the cities, where silence reigns. Alone, you hear truths that cannot be spoken in crowds. Alone, you become unshakable. Solitude is not loneliness, it is communion with yourself and with the eternal presence within. Do not fear it. Seek it. Ask yourself, when was the last time you stood in silence, face to face with your soul? Every human carries the self you show the world, and the self you hide in silence. The outer self seeks approval, applause, recognition. The inner self seeks meaning, truth, eternity. Imagine a mask covering a face. The mask is polished, admired, but it is not the face. The danger is forgetting who you are beneath the mask. Mastery is tearing off the mask, even when it terrifies you. Ask yourself, who are you when no one is watching? Anger is fire. Fire can destroy or it can forge. Left uncontrolled, anger consumes you, leaving ashes. Control, it tempers you, like steel. Imagine a blacksmith holding iron in the furnace. If he loses control, the metal warps. If he masters the flame, the blade sharpens. Anger is not your enemy, it is raw energy. The question is not whether you will feel anger, but whether you will master it. Will you be consumed by fire, or will you become the sword forged in it? Gratitude is the secret weapon of the unshakable. To the ordinary, gratitude feels small, soft, passive, but in truth, it is iron armor against despair. Imagine standing in darkness, yet holding a single candle. That flame is gratitude, it pierces the void, no matter how vast. Gratitude does not deny pain, it reclaims power in spite of it. Ask yourself, what do you still hold that the world cannot take from you? That is your light. Guard it. You have now stepped deeper into the labyrinth of mastery. You have seen that resilience, discipline, sacrifice, and solitude are not burdens, they are keys. Keys to doors that open only to those who dare to walk in silence, to face themselves, and to choose power over illusion. Ahead, the path sharpens. Further, we will descend into the core of transformation, the death of the false self, the rebirth of the true, and the discovery of the unshakable center within you. Ego is the shadow that whispers. You are the mask you wear. It feeds on praise, on recognition, on illusions of control. Yet, when tested by life, ego crumbles like paper in fire. Imagine a mask made of glass, polished and admired, but when struck, it shatters. That is ego, and until you face it, you remain a prisoner of its fragile walls. Mastery begins when you dare to die to your ego, to burn the false self, and walk into the ashes unafraid. Death is not only of the body, it is of illusions. The unshakable learn to die before they die. They release attachments, identities, stories, until only the eternal remains. Picture yourself shedding layer after layer of clothing until you stand bare under the sky, unmasked, unhidden, unafraid. That nakedness is freedom. When you no longer cling to the false, the world cannot enslave you. Ask yourself, what must you let die within you for your true self to live? Rebirth follows death like dawn follows night. From the ashes of what you once were rises what you were always meant to become. Imagine a phoenix, consumed by fire, feathers, turned to flame, body collapsing into dust then. From that dust, wings emerge brighter, stronger, eternal. That is rebirth. It is not becoming someone new, but becoming who you always were beneath the illusions. Ask yourself, are you willing to be consumed so you may rise? Inner alchemy is the transmutation of weakness into power. The alchemists of old sought to turn lead into gold, but the true alchemy is within you. Every wound, every fear, every failure is lead. Through reflection, discipline, and silence, that lead transforms into gold. Imagine holding a heavy stone, cold and dull, but with time, it shines like fire. That stone is your pain. The unshakable do not throw it away, they transform it. What lead in your life is waiting to become gold? Fear is the gatekeeper of transformation. It will stand before you, eyes burning, voice echoing, whispering of all that could go wrong. But fear is a liar. Its power ends the moment you walk through it. Imagine a wall of smoke before you, black and thick. Step into it, and you discover it was never solid at all. That is fear. It seems unbreakable until you move forward. Ask yourself, what fear have you let become a wall in your life? Courage is not the absence of fear, it is mastery over it. Every warrior has trembled before battle. Every leader has doubted in silence. But courage is stepping forward while trembling, speaking truth while shaking, acting when every fiber screams to hide. Picture a candle trembling in the wind, yet never going out. That is courage, small, fragile, but enough to banish darkness. Ask yourself, will you let fear rule your steps, or will you walk with courage, trembling yet unbroken? The heart is the throne of your being. Logic is a tool, discipline a weapon, but the heart is the command center of the eternal. The ancients called it the seat of the soul. In silence, you feel it speak, a voice that does not shout, but whispers. Imagine the compass pointing north. No matter how to turn it, no matter how storms rage, it points true. That compass is your heart. To ignore it is to wander forever. To follow it is to walk the path only you were born to walk. Your words are spells. Every syllable you release shapes the air around you. The unshakable do not speak carelessly. They understand that words can wound or heal, enslave or liberate. Imagine a sword cutting through darkness. It can destroy, but it can also protect. Your tongue is that sword. Each time you speak in anger, you sharpen despair. Each time you speak in truth, you sharpen strength. Ask yourself, what have your words been shaping? Vision is the fire that pulls you forward. Without vision, you wander. With vision, every obstacle becomes a step. Imagine standing in the desert, endless sand stretching in every direction. Without vision, you collapse under the sun. With vision, you see an oasis in the distance, and every step carries purpose. Vision turns struggle into pilgrimage. The unshakable do not wait to see, they choose to see. Ask yourself, what picture of the future drives you forward? Stillness is the forge where transformation hardens. The world pushes you to run, to chase, to never stop. But steel is not forged in chaos, it is forged in stillness, in fire that does not rush, in heat that endures. Imagine sitting at the center of a storm, winds raging, waves crashing, yet within you is a still point unmoved. That stillness is not emptiness, it is power contained, waiting, focused. Do you know how to sit in stillness without breaking? Shadows dwell in you, the parts of yourself you deny, suppress, reject. Anger, envy, lust, weakness. You pretend they are not there, but they shape you in silence. The unshakable do not deny their shadows, they face them, name them, integrate them. Imagine a wolf lurking at the edge of the fire. If you ignore it, it devours you in the dark. If you face it, it becomes your ally. Your shadow is not your enemy, it is energy waiting for mastery. Ask yourself, what shadow have you been running from? The path of mastery is lonely because few dare to walk it. Most choose comfort, distraction, illusion. You will be misunderstood. You will be mocked. You will be rejected. But remember, diamonds form in pressure, not in comfort. Imagine a lone traveler walking through a dark forest, while others remain in the village by the fire. The traveler feels fear, but also freedom. The forest is dangerous, but it is also where the treasures lie. Will you remain by the fire, or will you walk into the forest alone? Patience is the hidden power of the eternal. The impatient chase shadows and lose themselves. The patient move slowly, but build unshakable empires. Imagine water dripping on stone. One drop seems nothing, but years later, the stone is carved. That is patience. It is not weakness, it is unstoppable persistence. Ask yourself, what have you abandoned too soon? What might have grown if you had simply endured? Sacred anger rises not from ego, but from injustice, from betrayal of truth. It is not the rage of self, it is the fire of purpose. Imagine a lion roaring, not because it was insulted, but because its cubs were threatened. That roar is not weakness, it is power rooted in truth. Sacred anger protects, defends, restores. Ask yourself, do you waste your fire on ego, or do you preserve it for what truly matters? The soul does not speak in words, it speaks in knowing. That knowing is quiet, steady, undeniable. It does not argue, it does not demand, it simply is. Imagine a mountain beneath the clouds. The storm rages, lightning cracks, but the mountain remains unmoved. That is your soul. Beneath thoughts, beneath emotions, there is a foundation unshakable. The unshakable live from that foundation. Ask yourself, can you hear the voice of your own soul? Or have you drowned it in noise? Transformation is not an event, it is a cycle. You will fall, you will rise, you will fall again. Each time, you are refined, sharpened, purified. Imagine a blade thrust into fire, hammered, cooled, then thrust again. With every cycle, it grows stronger. With every trial, so do you. The unshakable do not resent the cycle, they embrace it. They know that every fall is another strike of the hammer shaping them into something greater. Victory is not the absence of defeat, it is what you become through it. Every failure plants seeds of wisdom that no success can give. Imagine a warrior scarred from battle, armor dented, body wounded, but eyes burning brighter than those who never fought. That is victory. It is not the crown on your head, it is the fire in your soul after the war. Ask yourself, what have your defeats given you that triumph never could? You are now walking the threshold of the deepest chamber. You have seen ego die, illusions burn, shadows rise. Ahead lies the unshakable center, the place within where no storm can reach, no fear can touch, no light can stand. That is the language of God within you, waiting to be read, waiting to be lived. The next step is not survival, it is sovereignty. Sovereignty is the crown of mastery. It is not given by kings, nor taken by enemies. It is claimed within. Sovereignty is the state where no one owns your mind, no one dictates your emotions, no one decides your path. Imagine standing on a mountain, peak, winds howling, yet no force can move you. That is sovereignty. You are the ruler of your own inner kingdom. The question is, have you claimed your throne, or have you abandoned it to the noise of the world? Freedom is not what society told you it is. Freedom is not indulgence. It is not rebellion for its own sake. Freedom is clarity. Freedom is standing before temptation and smiling, because you no longer need it. Imagine chains falling from your wrists, not because someone broke them, but because you finally saw there were illusions all along. That is true freedom. It is not given, it is realized. Ask yourself, what chains have you been holding onto as if they were your skin? Truth is sharper than any blade. It cuts away illusions, strips falsehoods, leaves only what is eternal. Many fear truth because it exposes weakness, but the unshakable embrace it, even when it wounds, because they know it heals. Imagine a surgeon's knife cutting open a wound to remove poison. Painful, yes, but necessary. Truth works the same. It destroys the comfort of lies to restore the strength of reality. Do you have the courage to face truth, even when it tears away your illusions? Power is not domination over others, it is dominion over self. The tyrant who conquers nations yet cannot master his anger is weak. The saint who controls his breath, his thoughts, his words, is unshakable. Imagine a storm outside raging uncontrollably, yet within a single drop of water lies perfect stillness. That drop is true power. Ask yourself, do you seek control outside or mastery inside? The unshakable live with purpose. Without purpose, life decays into distraction. Purpose is the fire that makes suffering meaningful, that transforms ignorance into glory. Imagine carrying a heavy stone on your back. Without purpose, it crushes you. With purpose, it builds a temple. Purpose turns burdens into offerings. Ask yourself, what temple are you building with the stones life has placed on your shoulders? Silence is not emptiness, it is presence. In silence, you touch the infinite. Imagine standing in a cathedral, vast and dark, no sound but your own heartbeat. That stillness is alive. It speaks a language without words, a language older than time. That silence is the voice of God within you. The unshakable do not run from silence, they dwell in it. Drink from it, live by it. Can you sit in silence long enough to hear the eternal? Detachment is the sword that severs illusions. When you no longer cling, you no longer fear. Imagine holding water in your hand. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips away. But when you open your hand, the water rests calmly in your palm. That is detachment. It does not reject life, it allows it to flow without control, without chains. The unshakable live this truth. They engage deeply, yet they do not cling. Ask yourself, what are you gripping so tightly that it is slipping through your hands? Love is the force that transcends mastery, not love as sentiment, but love as power fierce, boundless, eternal. Love is not weakness, it is the strongest foundation of all. Imagine sunlight pouring over the earth. It gives without demand, it shines without exhaustion. It warms even the unworthy. That is love. To live in love is to embody the highest sovereignty. Ask yourself, do you live to be adored, or do you live to radiate? The unshakable are builders of legacy. They do not live for applause. They live to plant seeds that outlast them. Imagine a hand planting an oak tree, knowing it will never sit in its shade. That is legacy. It is not glory now, it is eternity later. Every act of mastery, every word of truth, every step of courage echoes beyond your lifetime. Ask yourself, what echoes will remain when your voice is gone? Mastery is not escape from life, it is deeper engagement with it. The ordinary flee from pain, from silence, from truth. The unshakable embrace them, and in embracing, they rise. Imagine standing in the center of fire, yet instead of burning, you glow brighter. That is mastery. It is not leaving the world, it is transcending it while standing firmly within it. The language of God within you is not hidden, it has been speaking since the moment you were born. It speaks in your breath. It speaks in your heartbeat. It speaks in the silence between thoughts. You do not need to learn it, you need to remember it. Imagine a forgotten melody that rises again when the first notes are played. That melody is already yours. All you must do is listen. Now picture this. You, walking through the chaos of the world, unshaken. Fear rises, yet you remain steady. Doubt surrounds you, yet you walk with vision. Pain strikes, yet you rise stronger. Others look at you and wonder what secret you carry, and the truth is simple. You have learned the language of God within. You have chosen mastery over weakness, silence over noise, purpose over distraction. This is the culmination. You are no longer a prisoner of your emotions, no longer chained by illusions, no longer defined by fear. You are sovereign. You are whole. You are unshakable. The storms of life may come, but they will break against you like waves against a mountain. And in that unshakable presence, others will find strength. That is your gift. That is your legacy. Remember, the language of God is not outside, it is inside. In every breath, every heartbeat, every choice, read it, live it, become it. And when you do, you will never walk in chains again. This is the end of the words, but not the end of the path. The rest is yours to live.